Hi all, this is Ashish Kyal here. Welcome again to Elliott Wave News channel by wavestrategy.com, a learning series and the entire initiative of educating majority of the people at large is by Ashish Kyal Trading Gurukul. And it has been a fabulous week. Again, if you remember, you have been listening to me last week in the market on the webinar, and we did the polling on Friday, on Saturday we had somewhere around 60% bullish and 40% bearish, and that was clearly explaining that majority of the people were again confused just before the move was about to start. And someone asked me if I'm able to be bullish or bearish in the week, and I made my point very clear, my stand very clear, that I am bullish for the week. And look at it, the way it went all over the place, right from that 10,000 mark, in fact right from that 9,900 mark to 10,270 touched in today's session. Wasn't that fabulous move in just short span of time? If I have to ask, how many of you were there in the last webinar of Friday or Saturday? Friday we had Friday at 4, which is a 30 minutes webinar, and Saturday at for 2 hours. How many of you were there? I need an interactive session, people. How many of you were there for those webinars? You were there. And do you remember what I talked about the markets? You asked me my views, and I gave a very clear view that I am bullish on the market. And can you see how amazing it went all over on the upside in just short span of time? In fact, 2 days back, I published in my morning research report that markets are headed to turn up, and we will see levels of 10,300 as the first target which should be crossed, and it is now in place. In fact, we did amazing. We gave momentum call. Yeah, and can someone guess what can be the momentum call? Can you tell me the stock which was up by more than 30% in today's session? Anyone, any guesses? I'm sure what you might be aware about the stock up by 30%, bang on. And we gave this call yesterday to the clients of Momentum Services, and we gave it by yesterday by Indiabull Housing Finance above 158, and today morning it got initiated, and now you know where it is right now, and it was simply fabulous. I will share across with you those chart why we gave buy on Indiabull Housing Finance before it moved by 30%. It's, guys, it's not very often I see that happening, and I'm myself thrilled to see such accuracy on the calls. In past 1 month, I think we have generated nearly 4 to 5 such calls which have been up by nearly 10 to 15%, but 30% is something that has not happened in the past. And that's why it is said that the markets will give you surprises. If you are on the right side of the direction, you will make a killing. And if you are on the wrong side, you just have to ensure to put a stop loss and be out ASAP. So that's fantastic. And I'm sure by end of the day today, if the news is not already out, there will be some news which will come out that Indiabulls rallied because of so and so news or the events. And how does it even matter now, because the rally has already happened? Exactly the same scenario 2 days back when there was a spike on the downside on Nifty near 9720 because of that India-China border tension. And look at it, the way the markets have behaved. If you have been with me over past 2 months of webinar, I have been talking Nifty has been rallying on the upside, climbing the wall of worry. You do not need any more negative news that can come out, and the markets have continued to rally throughout the day. So absolutely fantastic move. And if you look at the events, there have been people who look at the news and events and then they pull the trigger. Probably you are the last one to enter the market. The same goes with Indiabull Housing Finance. I'll share across that research with you. We have just published across to our clients, and the movement was so fast and fabulous. I've never seen that happening in such short span of time, in single day of time, and it was up by 30%. That's simply superb. And in terms of Nifty, what do you think Nifty will do in the coming week? I'm going to open up the poll for each one of you, because before I share across my views, I want your views with me, because that will help us to understand the overall sentiment. And I'm not saying you are right or wrong, or I'm right or wrong. What we are trying to gauge is the overall sentiment of the market by using that polling. So just give me a second. Let me launch that poll and let me check what is the overall statistics suggesting whether we are going to going up or going down in the coming week. So there is no sideways. I'm sure a few of you like Sham and otherwise few of my mentees have been talking about I should put sideways also, but that actually defeats the entire purpose of this polling if I put a sideways trend, because then it will result into, I'm pretty sure most of you always mark sideways, because after the rally has happened you think markets will go sideways. If the market is already sideways you think it will go sideways, continue to go sideways. So that's why putting a sideways in the trend is not a good idea. And this is a trend in the coming week. Where do you think Nifty will be headed? Is it going to go up or it's going to go down? I need to understand that. We are voting, and guys, this is exactly as expected. In fact, more than I was expecting. And we have yet to others participate in this polling. So please continue to vote. There are few more who are yet to vote. And I'm going to take a snapshot and save it and share it on my Twitter channel and Telegram as well. So let's just see a few more who are yet to vote. Can you please punch in your voting? Any guesses that where do you think what should be the percentage of the upside? What do you think is the percentage of polling Nifty trend in the coming week? Is it going to be, how many of people are expecting that? I need on the chat, what do you think will be the polling outcome? It's going to be very interesting, right? Because we are going to be surprised if you are. Just give me a second. Let me save this across because it's very important for me to post it after the polling has ended. Okay, let me now end the polling. We are 80% of the people who are bullish and 20% expecting a down move. So 80-20 bang on. I think most of you are there. Great Dhiren, great Shamugai, 80% Babu, great. That's perfect. We are 80% expecting that the market is going to go up and 20% that's going to go down. If you remember the last polling that we did, in that we expected there were around, I think 62% on Saturdays, if I remember it correctly, who were expecting market to go up, and around 38 to 40% expecting it to go down. 60-40 was the ratio. Now the markets have rallied. It has become 80-20. Now Nifty goes to 10,500 if it goes there. I'm not saying it will. Then the ratio will change to further positive side. So which means that more and more number of people turn positive once the move has actually happened. Isn't that very interesting? This is unlike any other trading side, any other psychology of buying things in the economy. You expect price to go down and then you buy more, but in stocks and financial markets you buy more when it goes up. That is very interesting that you need to keep a watch on, and it has been fabulous. So let me just close this poll across, and let me also now get back to Indiabulls Housing Finance. The reason being, I am being extremely optimistic. Do you want to see that chart of Indiabulls Housing Finance? Let me just open up for you in case it's going to be useful to you, and I'm just going to be doing that. Give me a moment, please. And here is the report of Indiabulls Housing Finance. Okay, this is published across just some time back to the clients, and we have given the call yesterday itself, and it is simply fabulous. So can you see this report right now? Can you see this report? It shows multiple applications of various things. It shows application of Elliott wave. It shows application of Ichimoku cloud. I have not put cycles over here on Indiabulls, but we do apply cycles on Nifty. And when I expect Nifty to turn on the upside, I generate a momentum call on the stock, because without the support of Nifty, the stocks will not do the way it's supposed to do. So if Nifty goes down, the stocks will either go sideways, a stronger stock will go sideways, or will fall with Nifty, but going up is going to against the bigger tide. So you need to understand the trend for Nifty, and then based on that, you probably have to understand how it's going to behave after that. Okay, Ramakrishnan, fantastic. This is fantastic. You made 33K profit today on the momentum call. That's absolutely fabulous, right? And it's superb. So we started a third on Indiabulls Housing Finance. That's how it looks like. And we are in the third wave. We know how strong and fast the third wave moves, and the retracements are shown here, 38.2, 50 and 61.8%. So we are just about that 38.2% retracement of that entire fall in the form of wave C that we have marked on the downside in IBUL. So a clear explanation is given on why we were expecting the targets, and everything is mentioned on that research. You can get hold of it, of this research later on. Now let me move forward to Nifty, and let me share across my Nifty chart with you, since now we have a view on what do we expect markets to do. Okay, so let me just share that screen across, and here we are. If you can see my screen, let me take a fresh chart. Let me delete whatever is drawn on the chart right now, and let's just look at it with a fresh eye. The first thing first, we are going to look at Nifty on a weekly time frame. This is the simplistic method that you can follow if you want to understand what is up with Nifty. Look at it in a weekly time frame to understand if it is managing to protect the prior week's low or not. Can you see the prior week's low has been protected on a closing basis? It's very important you understand this bar technique very, very clearly. I generated a buy call even on Nifty, on Bank Nifty. Yesterday we gave buy on Nifty, and it has turned out to be fabulous. Now, if you want to follow a trailing stop loss method, this is the simplest way of following a trailing stop loss method. Ride this trend. Do not try to catch a top here. Many are trying to simply catch a top because they are missing the trend. So do not try to catch a top here. If you can see my screen here, just give me a second. Okay, and if you go on a daily time frame, again on a daily time frame, if you see here, this was the first close of Nifty above the prior day's high. So this happened yesterday when Nifty gave a close above the prior day's high. Now that was a classic again confirmation that the overall trend for Nifty has turned on the upside. So we generated a buy call right at somewhere around the zone of 10,000 on Nifty. In fact, I think it was 9980 when the buy call was given, and it's worked out simply superb. So and it's continuing. So unless we see a close below the prior day's low. So today's low is what? Today's low is what on Nifty? Can you tell me? Today's low is 10,073. So unless we see a close below today's low, the overall trend is going to be positive. A close below today's low will indicate we are entering into a sideways consolidation again. So that's a very simplistic way of looking at the overall trend of the market. Let's go on an hourly chart now. So I'm going right from the weekly chart to the daily chart to an hourly chart. And if you look at this trend, you will see not a single close from this low where 9845 has been below the prior hours low. There has been not a single close below the prior hours low. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see the chart? If you are able to see the chart, please raise your hand. Okay, fantastic. So few of you are not able to see the chart, and if you are able to see the chart, that's fantastic. Can you see this and really appreciate not a single hourly candle has closed below the prior candle's low? Now, if that is the case, that clearly indicates how amazing the entire trend had been on the upside. Now, that is again a very simplistic way of looking at the market trend, and keep riding it unless we see that happening. So if you are an intraday trader, follow an hourly chart. If you are a positional trader, swing trader, follow a daily chart. If you are an investor, follow a weekly chart. That's how you should be looking at the markets. And the next thing that you should be doing is draw a simple channel. Draw a simple channel. You connect the lows together. You connect it from this low to this low on the upside. And if you connect these lows together, you'll get a classic channel. That's one of the way of drawing a channel and the trend line. There is one more way in which you can draw this channel, is by connecting these lows together. Okay, so even this one is valid. So I'll just take a parallel to that, and simply fabulous. So if I have to ask you, what is the entire aim? If you remember, my aim is not to give you where it is headed. My aim is to ask you, where do you think Nifty is headed? The same question I asked last time. I'm asking again the same question now based on this channel. Where do you think Nifty is headed from here on? 10,600. I mean, that's objectivity. That's bang on, because that is where the channel resistance is coming. But are we going to be sure that we are heading there? No, it's a probabilistic scenario that we might be headed towards 10,600. But looking at this channel, I can clearly assume most of the moves have been stopped at these levels. Okay, so 10,600 is going to be crucial. If we break that with the momentum, there is further upside. That is a possibility on the upside somewhere around the zone of 10,900 if we break this first level of hurdle on the upside. Now you need to understand one thing very, very clearly. This does not mean that you jump in now on Nifty at 10,250 levels for riding at 10,500 or 600. You need to evaluate what is your stop loss. Your stop loss has to be very prudent. When we gave the call around 9980, the stop loss was simply superb of simply around 8200 points. If you enter now and if it goes down in the form of wave B or wave 2, you need to be having some leeway. Now you can't keep a stop loss of somewhere around 9900 because that becomes too far away. Okay, so it's better to buy on dips. Are you with me? It's better to buy on dips, not to go against the trend. What if tomorrow the trend reverses on the downside? You are going to come back to me and blame because of you I lost money. Do you think that is going to help you making money in this market? One thing, if you want to learn from me, take responsibility of your actions and the trades that you are punching in, not depending on anyone else, because this is your money that you put in, not anyone else. This is your responsibility that you do your entire research and homework, even if you are getting some kind of advisory from me or from someone else, because it's very, very important. The markets are extremely fast moving. It moves and changes the stance so fast with a blink of an eye. If you cannot change your stand from bullish to bearish, you are bound to lose money in this kind of a market. Am I being very, very clear to you? Okay, now let's go to the wave perspective on where do we think Nifty is forming, what kind of wave pattern we are seeing on the charts that Nifty has been exhibiting. That's going to be very interesting because the move on the upside has continued despite of all the negativity and the pessimism that majority of the people expected. So we are not live on YouTube today because of some technological glitch or bandwidth issue. So that's why live on YouTube is not working. I'm sure many of you who wanted to watch me live on YouTube is not able to do that. The next problem is I was also not keen on using this app for going live given the recent development of India and China, but I think this is the best choice unless we hear back from the government if we have to stop using Zoom going forward or not. So once they confirm that we have to stop using Zoom, I will definitely not use that. But for now, since we already had a lot of registrations happening here, so that's why we continued on the app right now. So I am with you. I am all Indian by heart, and you can I will abide by whatever rules have been announced. So we will do that. So I want everyone to do that. Once they announce to uninstall TikTok, Zoom is probably the secondary. TikTok is something that has been crazily used across India, right? So it's going to be interesting. So we will see that. And okay, let me now draw it on the chart here. If you can, okay, just give me a second. I have my, okay, this is what we are seeing right now. And I think, let me just annotate the screen. Just give me a second. Okay, so this was the move on the upside on Nifty, which was wave A. We went down in the form of wave B. I think this was wave C because we have been expecting a diametric, but looking at the entire move right now and the amount of and the price action, it looks like this was wave D on the downside. We are right now in wave E. Now this wave E can be possibly, just give me a second. Okay, so this wave E, just one moment please. Okay, this wave E, in this wave we had a smaller degree wave A here, we have a smaller degree wave B completed here, and this is C, which is currently ongoing right now. And this is, I think, this is forming a very similar structure to what we saw here. A similar structure that we saw here is under formation. So I think the diametric pattern is still ongoing and is possibly extending on the upside. Okay, so this is the neo wave. I think we are in diametric pattern and we are extending this wave B entirely on the upside, and that's why it is very, very important. And this is extremely crucial to understand that we are completing this entire move on the downside. Now, what is the other way of looking at the market? Let me just save this chart. I will also be sharing it across on the Twitter and the YouTube and various other places. So you will have to bear with me, and I will be drawing a retracement. What is the agenda? I'm not sure, Shrikant, if you think there is no agenda of this webinar and it's a waste of time, you can please leave. I don't think, if everyone thinks that it's not a learning platform right now and it's not useful. Guys, do you think it's not useful what I'm talking about right now? Let me know. I don't mind stopping the Friday webinar at 4 if it is waste of everyone's time. I don't want to do that, right? I think it is helping people to take some calculated decision and learning also. So if you are learning, then please say yes, so that I know this is useful for you. If you think this is not useful, then possibly I'm not sure. What I also want you to do is there is going to be very, very interesting thing. So Shrikant, if you think this is not useful, you can please leave. So this is wave on the upside. So 61.8%. Guys, can you tell me where is 61.8% coming? 10,400. So 10,400 is going to be the level that you have to keep a watch on the upside. If that is crossed, do you remember, anyone remembers the level and Fibonacci that I talk about on most of my webinars? 76.4% retracement works extremely well. Okay, bang on, Ritesh, Sanjeev. I think you have been following me for some time. Nikhil, Subodh, this is 76.4%. Okay, so that is the level we can possibly keep an eye on. Okay, so we are currently in wave E of a diametric, and we will see. So I'll be mentioning in much detail about this wave E of a diametric pattern. We will cover in much detail over there. And before I move on further, there is one very interesting thing that I want you to do. Right now, we have come out with, my team suggested that this is one of a very interesting way in which we can spread the awareness as well of how systematically we use things. So one of the things that I want you to do is, whoever can possibly like us or subscribe to us on YouTube. So there is a YouTube channel at @Kyal Ashish. Please go and subscribe there. Follow us on Facebook at Wave Strategy. Join us on Telegram, and possibly follow me on Twitter. If you do all of these four things, if you can do all of these four things, then we will share across 3 days of research report with you. This is going to help us 3 days of Nifty research in the coming week. So from starting Monday to Wednesday. So if you can help us do that, and I'm going to share across a form with you. So if you can just help, just give me a second. And okay, here it is. Okay, thanks. I think my colleague has shared across. Fantastic, Neha. Thank you very much for sharing this across. So if you can do this and fill out this form with your Twitter handle. So okay, this is the form. So if you can fill out the forms, then this is going to be really helping us to get you access to 3 days of research. Who is already having access? Fantastic. So you guys already know how fantastic it works, right? Let me just save the screen meanwhile. I'll just pause for a minute so that you can follow on the various social media and fill the form, so that we know. 3 days resort booking, absolutely. Now that is very interesting. So post the COVID, we are still not taking bookings. Post the COVID, I will definitely arrange a program here, a 3 days not a webinar, seminar, 3 days of seminar. We will do something here. Will you be interested in attending something like this personally? Will you travel all? Because I'm sure from the webinars, there are people from all over India. Will you be interested in coming down to Lonavala at Cloud9 Hills Resort in 3 days of time, spend time and learn various methods. So no agenda. So I am the guy who can keep talking without any agenda. The only intention is to make money in the market by looking at a systematic chart, nothing else. The agenda is when to pull the trigger, when to get out. That's the entire agenda. So that's what we are going to be talking about. Not now, after the COVID. So post COVID, life post COVID, we will do that. So we will definitely do that. Let me just save this across. Okay, fantastic. So the overall trend for Nifty, if I have to conclude, I will also take a few question and answers post this session. If overall trend of Nifty has to be concluded, can you tell me, I'm not going to give you an answer, what is the overall trend of Nifty you think is right now, and if you have to be overall on the upside? So voice is breaking. Pardon me for the connectivity issue. Okay. So overall trend of Nifty, can you tell me? Okay. Are you able to hear me? Are you with me? Okay, here I am back again. Are you with me? Are you able to see me? And okay, fantastic. Let me just launch one more poll for you. How many of you are option traders here? Let me launch a poll. So meanwhile the bandwidth stabilizes, you can just simply answer the poll. How many of you are trading in options? Because if you are trading in options, this was the best move that we captured again at 10,000 levels on Nifty 9980. We went long and it's nearly more than 250 points. You're already in the market. I have realized, I said last time, if you are not able to time the market to the point of the hour, you are probably going to miss it. I'm sure the number of people who are missing the trend now are relatively lesser than the ones who missed the trend earlier because they attended this webinar. Is it correct? The number of people missing the trend on the upside are less compared to the ones that they missed earlier because this webinar helped. That we are doing Friday at 4 webinar with Ashish Kyal Trading Gurukul. Did it help you? Okay. Okay, so fantastic, fantastic. So if you're not able to submit the form, the email ID says that it should be number. I think there is some problem. So kindly write down your email ID wherever you can on the form. My team will segregate it from there. So some issue on the email ID. Email space is showing as a form so number, so please submit it there. So my team will take it from there. So that would be great. And it's helping. That's a very clear understanding. Please do not post your email IDs here. There are a lot of people don't reveal your email IDs here. In the form itself, post your email ID wherever you can, write down the email IDs and my team can take it from there, or you can simply submit the form and I think we will get the email ID because you submit the form. I'm not sure, whatever way works for you, and we will set it up with you. Before we go ahead and wind up for today, I just want to share across my website. The Traders Forum is really kicking. I'm not sure if you have been following the various charts. There are people who are posting on the Traders Forum and it has been simply superb. So let me just share across the Traders Forum with you, and it has been kicking all the way. So if you go here on the website, so I'm just sending this poll, and if you go and check this Traders Forum, okay, and over here you can simply check and you can look at various discussions happening across the forum. So please participate, post your questions, post your doubts, whatever queries you might have, do it here. And the final touch mentorship starts tomorrow and I'm extremely excited. A lot of you are there in the mentorship batch tomorrow for 3 hours. Every Saturday we are going to discuss that, and if you want you can still register for this mentorship. It starts tomorrow for a period of 3 months. It's going to be, we are discussing a lot about technical analysis. Whether you are starting fresh or you are an expert on NeoWave, it does not matter. So that's the mentorship that I am talking about, which is going to be an amazing way of learning in the market. So that is fabulous way of making your disciplined approach to the market is what I would say. And that has been fantastic. Let me take a few questions before we wind up. And let me just check if there is anything apart from the Q&As that I have to take. Okay, I am audible and my view is positive on Nifty as long as the previous day's low is protected on a closing basis for a trend on the upside. My first target was 10,300. We have touched that level. The next target will be mentioned in the morning daily research report. So please, please review that morning daily research report. And so wave G tends to equal to wave C target 11,374. No, G tends to be equal to A, Sunil. So G does not tend to be equal to C. G tends to be equal to A. The software that I'm using for technical analysis is ME Broker. You can definitely use ME Broker. What time frame one can expect to reach either 10,600 basis? For that, you need to apply time cycles. We will discuss that in much detail tomorrow in the mentorship program. So if you are there on the mentorship, Rohit, I'll be discussing a lot on that. And bull run or we are in pullback in the bear market rally? A very interesting question, Anshul. So his question is it a bull run or we are in a bear market rally? Meanwhile, if the email ID is not getting accepted, my colleague, can you please try to change the email to a text format rather than a number format, if that is possible? So I'll just check if my colleague can do that immediately, so you can submit the form. Okay, fantastic. So let's just check. So yes, we are in a bear market. It's a wave B of a bear market, and this is going to be okay. Neha, you have to share it with all the attendees. Yes, guys, here is the form. Please fill in. I'm so sorry for the goof up that has happened. I'm apologize for the waste of your time for filling in, but please do that again so that we have the correct data with us. And we are in wave B of a bear market. Post this wave B is complete, we will see C on the downside. Now, where will this wave be complete? I think we will go up further, because look at Dow Jones, look at NASDAQ, look at FTSE, look at global markets. They have been continued to rise. Look at the Indian market. So much of bad news have come out, so much of trouble, but it has continued to rise despite of all of the negativity that we have seen in the markets. So that's a sign of positivity for me. But don't be surprised, I might change my stand with a fraction of a second if my technical studies, Elliott wave, Neo wave, and time cycles suggest that we are already in a bear market. So I will change the stand if that happens. Okay, fantastic. Then thank you very much for your time, and I hope today's session was useful and you are able to learn from the webinar. Do share across your views and feedback on the forum, Traders Forum. You can also write comments on the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it across, and the various links that my colleague will share again right now. Do that and fill in the form, and we will set you up from Monday for 3 days of Nifty research report. So enjoy the ride and enjoy the momentum. It's not very often we see 30% rise. Enjoy that momentum. And in case you are interested in the momentum research services, then do get to the website wavestrategy.com or write to us on helpdesk@wavestrategy.com. Call us on 9920422202. My colleague will take it from there, and we will set you up for the momentum calls, services, or the mentorship, which starts tomorrow. Excited to see you all there on the mentorship platform. Thank you very much. This is Ashish Kyal signing off, and have a wonderful weekend, and excited like markets right now. It's not very often. The predictability is so high since 2 months that I am simply thrilled myself. Elliott Way is working fantastic right now. Thanks a lot.